Welcome to Moonstone Update. I'm Mark Bechard, the Managing Editor of Moonstone Publications. This is an overview of some of the stories we've covered over the past week. But first, please hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Regulation 28 compliant collective investment schemes will be able to invest in retail hedge funds if draft amendments to the unit trust regulations are adopted. This is one of three changes the FSCA is proposing to make to Board Notice 90. The two other proposed changes are allowing CIS managers to include actively managed exchange-traded funds in their portfolios and increasing the cap on an underlying portfolio's offshore exposure from 20 to 45%. Registration is open for Moonstone Compliance's ever-popular regulatory update workshop on March the 30th. The webinar will bring you up to speed with key regulatory developments that impact your business. Session 1 will discuss important changes to the phase and insurance legislation, plus FECA and anti-money laundering. Session 2 will look at business email compromise and the implications for employers of the changes to the earnings threshold. On the subject of business email compromise, Santam has warned financial advisors that email interception is the preferred method for committing fraud. The warning comes in the wake of the High Court judgment against a prominent law firm that was the victim of a business email scam. Santam's communication includes advice on how to spot email fraud and what you should do to avoid becoming a victim. Moonstone Business School of Excellence's qualifications are designed to provide you with the skills and knowledge you need to excel in the financial services industry. MBSE has been offering further education and training certificates for more than 15 years. These entry-level qualifications provide a pathway to further qualifications. Follow the link below to find out more about MBSE's FETC qualifications in short-term insurance and wealth management. Guardrisk has been ordered to pay a Ferrari owner R1.8 million plus punitive costs after it repudiated the owner's insurance claim on the basis that the car was being driven recklessly in rainy weather. The High Court's decision highlights that insurers that decline a claim on the ground that the policyholder breached a reasonable precautions clause need to be satisfied that the evidence is sufficient to discharge what the courts see as a heavy onus on insurers to prove recklessness. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana will have to recalibrate all his 2023 budget projections by at least 0.5% because of South Africa's grey listing, says economist Iraj Abedin. Grey listing reduces a country's GDP growth by between 0.5 and 1.5%, he says. If the impact of grey listing is taken into account, the country will be close to recession in a best-case scenario and in a recession with a worst-case scenario based on Treasury's GDP projections. Sanlam subsidiary Glacier is on track to becoming the biggest LISP in South Africa after Sanlam finalized the acquisition of Alex Forbes' individual client administration business. The acquisition of Alex Forbes' LISP business adds about 76 billion rand to the 318 billion rand already administered on the Glacier platform, giving the combined entity an asset base of 394 billion rand. Alan Gray's LISP business was the largest at the end of December last year, with assets of 388 billion rand. Santam, South Africa's largest short-term insurer, paid a record 29.8 billion rand in gross claims last year, nearly 22% more than in 2021. Higher claims impacted the group's net underwriting margin, which fell from 8% to 5.1%, which is at the bottom end of Santam's target range. The underwriting results were negatively impacted by the floods in KwaZulu-Natal, claims inflation, higher than expected fire losses, and increased power surge and crime-related claims. That's all we have for this week. You can read these stories and many more on our website moonstone.co.za. Until next time, here's wishing you all the best from the team at Moonstone Information Refinery.